So I don't really have any clue as to what the meaning of life might be, nor do I suspect anyone else does in a real sense. I have some suspicions, and as suspicions go, I think they're not half bad. But, I wouldn't be able to put a flag in anything definitively. Here's one of my suspicions. I think we're given a body, and we're born into it, and we can't leave it. Or I guess we can leave it, but if you're going to do the life game, you got to do it in a body. That's just that, as far as we know, at least, And I feel like part of that has to be you have to understand your body. You have to come to terms with it. You have to be able to negotiate with it because it has drivers and needs that you don't have, Like I'm not a big proponent of the separation of the mind and body. I do think about it as one integrated system, but the body's got its own thoughts and ideas sometimes, I don't feel like those two ideas are mutually exclusive. I think they're circles with a great deal of overlap, but a great deal of overlap is not complete overlap, right? So it would be nice if you got along with your body. It would be nice if you understood its needs and its drives. And it would be nice if you let it have its way, at least sometimes. I think about it like a mad dog on a leash in a yard that's just dying to get off that chain. And once it's off that chain, it's going to be inconsolable. It's going to do any number of horrendous things. So it's real important to keep it on that chain. But, if you eased in, if you allowed it to become acclimated to more and more freedom, it's still a mad fucking dog. It would still do bad stuff, but you could manage it, And that's how I think about the body. And yesterday I spoke somewhat harshly about, getting programs and trainers and things like that. And I did not mean the tone exactly how it came off. Oh, and I'm just warming up here, by the way. I think you can absolutely do a course of physical self-discovery with another person or another person's ideas, and even should. All I'm suggesting is that it's easier to lose your way for someone else's way, to become insular and dogmatic, about a certain way of doing things, and losing your own physical identification, your own agency. I feel like this happens all the time, and as crimes go, I don't know that it's all that serious, but what I'm in this game for is to learn about me. It's to learn what I can do and what I can't do and why, and to come to appropriate terms with myself and to be honest with myself, to do the things I say I'm going to do, and that's something I definitely failed at over the last 10 days. Every day I had an ambitious plan. I was going to get out of this rut, and every day I let myself down. I don't think people realize how much that shit costs, It's going to take me a while to re-earn my trust. Like, for real. I'm not even being cute when I say that. Like, this is a process I'm really going to have to take on seriously. Here I'm doing 8 sets of 1 rep with my daily minimum, 185. They were both easier and harder than I expected. I only show you 3 of them. I think I show you 1, 5, and 8. Mostly the difficulty was finding the bar path. I've been a little out of practice with any sort of real load, and it was tricky to find the spot. After the 8 sets of 1, I did 3 sets of 4 with 135. I had planned to do 3 sets of 5, and I could have easily done that, but I feel like the soreness tomorrow is going to be out of hand. Also, before the warm-ups I showed you, I pulled my sled for a third of a mile, both backwards and forwards. It's a pretty good squat warm-up. So you might be thinking that doesn't seem like that's a good warm-up, but it doesn't seem like a great warm-up. Like you're not really getting into the range of motion. I agree, actually. It's all short-range movement when you're pulling and pushing a sled. So afterwards, that's kind of why I'm doing those deep squat movements with the kettlebell you saw. But I do some other stuff too, just body weight stuff, just so that I have some proprioception in the positions. It's not a perfect warm-up, but it works really well for this old man. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about the meaning of life. You know, I think there are a lot of clues. Like, we have a body, we have a mind, we have an emotional spectrum. Like, these are like the things we're born into the game with. You know, if it was a role-playing game or a video game, these would be your most basic attributes that you start with. And like those three corridors of what it is to be an individual human, I think we should explore them. And that's not a controversial thought, you know? I didn't just blow anybody's mind. But with the possible exception of our range of emotions, what I do think is controversial is I think we have to do this alone. And much of it we have to do without guidance. You know? I love consuming media. I love reading. I love watching instructional videos. I'm hypocritical in this sense because I consume a great deal of media, instructional media, but I use it aloofly. Like, I integrate things and I study things, or I guess I'm more like an armchair academic in this sense. I really like knowing the stuff, but it often doesn't ring a true bell inside of me. You know, I'm not interested in execution. This little workout I'm doing is just a variation of Alex Bromley's Method Monday he did 2 or 3 weeks back. And I really like it. But like, what it did was it pointed me in a general direction. I'm not going to follow that routine to a T. I can't imagine why I would. But certainly we're all different, right? Certainly we all approach these problems and puzzles differently. I guess the takeaway is that I see this meat experience, this life, as an adventure. It's an adventure game. And part of what makes it so cool is that we have to figure out the rules of the game as well as how to win. I love that. And yeah, you can tell I'm feeling better. This is Joe in real life. I love